This is Angie Hall, and you are watching Three Pink Chairs on the Queening Network.
Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Chanel, and you are watching Three Pink Chairs on the Queening Network. All right, we are back with another episode of Three Pink Chairs. I am your host, Big Queen. I have Miss Angie and Nelly P here with me today, and we're going to talk about some of my favorite topics. Are y'all ready? Yeah. Are you ready?
Nervous, but I'm okay.
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous, y'all. Okay. So I'm going to start off with an accountability question. Okay, so what would you say is the hardest thing about taking accountability, being accountable in certain situations, and how do you handle that?
The hardest thing about being accountable?
Yes, because it is hard.
It is.
It's not easy.
I think I'll go first. I think the hardest thing about being accountable is having to be real with yourself. And a lot of people don't like to do that. They don't like how that feels, but they don't have a problem doing it to other people. And when you're holding yourself accountable, you have to be a realist, that same realist that you are to others. You have to look at yourself, and it's hard to look at yourself and see like, dang, I'm not that perfect. Like, dang, I'm not doing what I should be doing to get to where I'm going. Dang, I'm actually the reason why I'm in my own way. I'm blocking my blessings, you know? So I think it's just hard to do because you don't want to do that to yourself.
But we also see that other people aren't taking accountability, but we don't hold ourselves accountable for
it's easy
our
to
own
acknowledge
actions,
it in someone else,
other people.
but with yourself, it's hard. Why do you think that is?
Sometimes we really don't look at ourselves a lot of times. It like you say, it's easier to see fault in other people and see what other people are doing wrong and even correct them. But sometimes we need that same other people to hold us accountable. So self-accountability is important, but it's a little harder for us to do.
And so then when someone tries to hold you, is that always received?
Some people know.
Some people.
Nobody wants to be called out on their stuff.
Yes.
One thing, I'm not married, but my homegirl is married, and she said to her, being in a marriage is like looking in the mirror every day. She said, because you always have somebody there that's going to hold you accountable, even if you don't know that that's what they're doing. But a simple, did you do this today like you said? That's holding you accountable.
Right.
It's like we're always on the defense about it because we don't like to see that we're not being our best self.
Yeah, and like you said, it's always the defensive response. Even if it's coming from love, even if it's someone that, cares about you and wants the best for you, if they check you on your stuff, you immediately are like, no, that's not it.
Mode.
Yeah, you get into defense mode. But how are you going to grow? How are you going to get better without being held accountable? And I'm talking about this because it's fairly new. Yeah. Right? This word kind of came about like a few years ago. So what were we doing before?
It's up top with like accountability, toxic, vulnerable,
manifestation.
Yes.
And boundaries.
So it's like, what were we doing before? But before, I feel like you weren't looking yourself in the mirror. We were kind of just going with the flow. If someone tried to check us or make us be accountable for something, we would kind of just dismiss it.
And I think too, social media, I have a love-hate relationship with it, but it is one of those things that you're looking at yourself in the mirror every day.
Right.
By some aspect, whether you are staring at this girl's body and now you're beginning to compare yourself, now you have to have a reality check, like, oh shoot, and you have to hold yourself accountable in your thoughts, your own process of how you're taking in what you're seeing.
Right.
And you have to be accountable for, who am I going to follow? Who am I going to feed my soul?
What am I going to consume?
When I look on social media. So I think on that one aspect of social media, it's a positive thing because then you also have to be big enough to say, I need to back up.
Right.
I need to take my time away from this. And I think actually, as hard as it is to be accountable for yourself, that's probably the easiest one. Yeah. It's easier for me to be real with me than to try to sit down and say, hey, this is actually, you're not doing this right. Yeah. Because immediately you're going to be mad. Right.
And it doesn't matter like how close you are with that person or like the rapport. Yeah. But I do think that social media, like you said, also helps you hold yourself accountable because it is like looking in a mirror. You see what people are saying to you. You see how people are interacting with you. You see what you're consuming every day. Some things that like trigger you or make you upset. You're like, why am I here?
Right.
Why am I even looking at
that takes
this?
in, again, accountability, because to me, it was when I saw things on social media that I didn't like, I accepted it. And I'm like, every day I would say, oh, I hate what she posts, or I don't like this person, or I don't. But then this year it was like, I began to, like you said, hold yourself accountable. Like, I don't want to follow this person, and this person is always negative, and I don't feel like I'm gaining anything by watching this person on my social media.
Sometimes we still don't want to press that unfollow or
No, the last few weeks I've been hitting unfollow like crazy.
And even if you don't want to do that, you can just mute them.
That's true.
It's like, I mute people's stories in a heartbeat because I don't mind seeing your content, but I don't want to hear you talk. I don't want to hear your opinion. Like, I don't want to hear it. And it's because it may go against, it may annoy me, it may.
So then why mute them instead of unfollowing them?
Because the mute, most people interact a lot on their story.
Right.
So I'm muting. You can mute the story itself and your post still come in my feed.
Right.
But there are people, what I have learned, sadly, there are people that are terrible people on social media but are great people in real life.
Is that possible?
Yes.
It
Because
is.
you don't know how to. A lot of things happen and are misinterpreted on social media because, one, you don't have the discipline to just be quiet.
Okay.
You want to jump in on the subject, but in real life, you might not even say anything when somebody's talking.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And social media is a facade anyway.
it is.
I can put the life that I
is.
want to give you on my social media, but that doesn't mean it's my real life.
Can you actually be one way on social media and one way?
Right. That's
But
absolutely
I know
right.
people that are quiet in real life,
And you're right.
And they would talk if they know you. They'll have a good conversation.
But on social media, they're like vibrant, talkative.
Because it's who they. I think it has something to do with introvert and
who they
extrovert
really
and
want to
having
be.
platform and who they would be. If you know what I'm saying.
If they have that
and not to say
confidence.
it's fake because it's who they are.
Is
It's just
it?
not. It is in their own space.
I think it's a little
and form, I
fake.
think.
No, because I give social media what I want them to have, and I'm a Gemini too, so I have different sides. So one day I may post. I might be ratchet on social media, and then the next day I'm all about my business and I'm
But that's
flourishing.
still a reflection of who you are.
I think it's
Kinda,
right?
I think it's just a fine line because I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because there are people that have created themselves to be this thing or this person or this figure, and that's not who you are at all.
Yeah, because
So
like
I'm
you
saying-
said, I've seen people on social media, they're like, lights, flashing, and then I see them in real life, and they're dry. I'm
I
like,
see
you cannot,
I see
this
that.
cannot be you.
But when I was saying like the quiet, it's like us three are together. I'm your friend. And when I sit down and meet Angie, I might be kind of, pulled back and taken aback.
Right.
But you know me to be
loud, yeah.
Right,
So that's what I
right.
mean,
And that won't really be
aspect.
fake.
And it's not fake.
Right.
I'm more comfortable with being this way with you because you're my homegirl.
Right.
I'm just getting to know her, and she doesn't need to know all of me. So
That's true. That's true. But that leads me to my next question, which is great, right? What?
I'm ready for it.
You ready? Okay. How do you handle friendship breakups?
Girl.
I don't know if I want to speak on this on.
do.
But me, I'm okay with friendship breakups, and I think that sometimes we need a moment, and it doesn't mean that we're completely broken up as friends and we're never coming back. It's just sometimes we need a separation because I may be going through, some things, or I may be, starting a business or whatever, and your friendship just not was going to get me where I wanted, or it did not give me the support I needed, or sometimes your problems are too much for me to take in for where I'm trying to grow to. So I think friendship breakups are okay. I've actually had a few lately, and it wasn't intentional, and it wasn't by being mean. It was, I need me.
Yeah.
I have to find
Because sometimes
me.
friendships could be a little draining or
Overwhelming.
consuming.
Yeah. So I recently took a few friendship breakups, and it wasn't, I don't foresee it as being permanent. It's just that at this moment of what I'm going through and where I'm trying to build and where I'm trying to grow, these people can't go with me right now. And when I get there, we'll be back okay. I'll never forget our friendship. But just at this moment, I needed a break.
So I think that friendship breakups may be a little worse than your relationship breakups.
Yeah.
Because friendships, is a different intimacy that you won't ever be able to get from a partner.
Right.
Because the level is just different. And I have experienced, some breakups where it's just like, oh, okay. And that's probably was in my younger years. I didn't care. I was very just like flowing, like, I got 10 friends. I don't care if you don't care anymore. But once you grow, and I still have a host of women that I'm proud and grateful to say I have a lot of friends, that I can really trust in. So when it gets to the point of that breakup, that's serious to me.
Yeah.
And I've had friction with friends, as we get older, just because life is just lifing for individuals and we may not know each other on that level. And it causes harm because we just don't understand it, or whatever you need from me.
Because everyone's always at different levels. Yeah.
And I think that when that breakup happens, it does something to your core. I'm not going to say it's a friendship breakup, but I've actually been experiencing something with a friend where it's just very, very intense for me.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going through. The same thing.
And it's like, the thing is, when you go through things in life and when you go through things with different people, certain things there's no coming back from. Whether you want it to be great, whether you
just can't
want it to be great,
you just can't.
There's a thing where they say, you forgive and forget, but you really never forget.
No.
And depending on what was done, it's like I could love you past all of that, but
we may not be able to get back to that.
Right. And then there's the thing of, well, how do we, after that breakup, after that big bang in friendships, it's like, how do we move forward?
Right.
I don't think a friendship breakup has to be a big bang. I think it
depends.
It depends.
It depends. Right.
Relaxed. In your case, you're like, hey, you're putting you first. You're being selfish in the best way that you know how for yourself. So in your space, you can feel like, hey, we'll line back up. But in reality, you may not. And it's because they may not feel like that. So now they feel that selfishness that you're giving to yourself, although that's important for you, that doesn't feel good for them. So now you have two human beings with two different feelings that are going to somehow try to mesh back together. When you were good with that, and they might say they were good because they respect you and they love you, but really come time down the line when you up and popping, and it's like, I didn't have my me time, y'all. I'm sorry, I needed my space. They may not be able to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it depends on the friendship, though.
It depends on the friendship. It depends on like how tight y'all were. Were you guys like best friends talking every day? Were you the friend that I can check in with you once a month and we're okay?
That's true.
Like for me, I take my friendships very seriously. They're very close to my heart. So when a friendship breakup happens, I be going through it. It hurts really, really bad. And like you said, sometimes you just can't go back. Even if we talk, I forgive you, we move forward, that scar is always there. It won't be the same.
Like the love is there, but it's just like it may not ever just be the same, which is fine.
Which is okay.
Because relationships evolve.
Yes. And I see people say like, oh, well, you've forgiven your man all these times.
That's what I was about to bring up.
You've forgiven your man all these times. Like, why can't you forgive me? And that is true. But like you said, the relationship is different. The relationship I have with my partner is different from a relationship you have with your friend.
Because I've come to you as a friend about my relationship with my partner. You've seen me cry more than my partner. You've seen me at hard times. You've seen me grow. You've seen me up, down. You know everything. Like your friend, your best friend knows more about you than your partner. You have a different relationship.
Right.
That it's almost like this is just a woman thing.
Because I don't even think men go through that.
Yeah, I think guys are just because we're emotional beings.
We're emotional. Men, how many times do you hear about a man breaking up with his friend? Because there has to be something extreme. And even they can box, fight, be good the next day. Us, you look at us the wrong way, you don't like my outfit one day, you comment on some girl who don't like me, it is a wrap. It is a wrap. So we're more emotional, so that's for sure,
It just always be funny to me, like how we just have more things going on. Like, it's just so intense being a woman. Like,
it is. Intense. This is great because now I'm going to my hot pink question.
Oh, okay.
Y'all are just flowing. It's just going how I have it. Because my hot pink question is envious friends. Have y'all ever had to deal with that?
I have many times.
How do you deal with that?
I'm kind of like a loud, quiet person, and it's just how I was raised and the things I went through as a child, and childhood trauma. So when I see different things or I experience different things from friends and I experience that envy, a lot of times I don't say anything, but I'm mindful and I'm watchful. So it makes me not want to share, accomplishments, or it may make me not want to tell if I'm about to buy a car. Become guarded because now I feel like I can't tell you about what I'm about to accomplish or something that's going to make me happy because you have such a jealous spirit.
The little comments,
and the little comments, or
the
if
looks.
I start a business, or if I bought a truck.
Yes.
And then I hear, one of my friends telling someone she's going to buy a truck, and I'm like, I never heard you mention that before. So now it's now I'm like little things like that makes me mindful of my friendships.
Right.
Now, what I will say is, girl, just know you setting a trend.
No.
Sometimes you might not need them, but they might need you. So hey,
right, because she gonna need help.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like,
and I'm such a helpful person. I would rather you come to me
and be genuine.
And let's get money together, or let's go shopping together, or let's follow the whatever the latest fashion trend together. Let's go eat together. We don't have to be envious of one another.
Let me go get a meal with you, please. Let's go eat.
Let's chop it up. You don't have to be envious of me because you may have some things that I want to learn about, or things about you I want to know about.
But sometimes and oftentimes envy isn't about you.
Correct.
Right? That if you have someone who's envious in your life, it's not really about you. It's about them. And so then they start seeing things that they maybe wish they had, or they aspire to be, and then they don't like you for it. It don't have nothing to do with you. But it's a hard reality because you love this person, you care about this person, and you're like, why wouldn't you just talk to me? Why wouldn't you just come to me and talk about it? But they can't, because then there's that little bit of insecurity. It's a lot. It's layers.
Insecurities.
It's layers. How have you dealt with envious friends if you've had that?
I think that for me, I'm a real benefit of the doubt girl. And I won't say it's to a fault either, because at the end of the day, I'm good. You know? But I do give people benefit of the doubt. But there have been moments where, in observing, you can see certain things from people that can plant that seed. Like, like, are they really down for the cause? But it's something that I don't really ponder on, because sometimes we can be wrong.
That's true. We can misinterpret things.
And we can begin to operate in a manner to where now we're being the fraudulent friend.
Because you have all these preconceived notions that may not even be a thing.
I've had those feelings, I'm really close with my sister. I might be like, hey, have you ever, just to bounce an idea, but I still don't trip about it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, when you have been called to be a certain person, when you have a certain personality, when you have a certain gift, a certain bang, a certain spunk about yourself, it's going to come with the territory.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
And I wouldn't want it to come within my friendships. And
you can't. You just can't even avoid it sometimes, because you're going to pull those type of people in.
And you can't control what latches onto you. The only thing you can hope is that whatever isn't supposed to be won't be. So it's just like, if you are envious of me, okay, and I know God is going to get you away from me. It's less about what I need to do and more about who I just need to keep being.
That's true.
It is what it is.
That's true.
And then it takes it back to, you're not from envious friendships, but then it goes back to, what do you do about friendship breakups? Because at that point, do you kind of just leave the friendship once you start experiencing that, or you feel that envy within your friendship? Do you take a moment away from that friend?
That's what I'm saying. Me personally, how I live and how I flow, I just feel
let
whatever isn't supposed to be won't be. I don't ever feel like I would have to be put into a position to where
have to take action.
Big old, thing, because in reality, if we let it, things just happen. If me and you have a falling out and we don't know how we want to move forward, we'll end up just not talking. And
I was just gonna say, life will kind of just fix it.
It won't be a thing. It's just like, I can see you and be like, hey, Angie girl, how you been? I miss you, and then we don't have to talk.
And then that's okay.
But it's no hard feelings. We just, it is what it is.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, ladies, that was a great. See, that wasn't bad, right? That wasn't bad. Thank y'all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.